Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Cindy and today we're going to talk about two things. First up, we're going to talk about my shrink treatment update, and then I'm going to tell you everything I know about Botox in Korea. So if you are brand new to this channel, then you probably have no idea what the shrink treatment is, and that's okay. You can take a look at my other video. I did a whole thing about it, my first time getting it done and everything I felt about it, all that good stuff. To give you a little bit of a rundown, it's a treatment that helps with fine lines and wrinkles, and it helps produce collagen in the skin. And I got it done from here down to here. Now, I promised a 1-month update, and I took the photos for the 1-month update and then did not do the video. Now it's been 2 months, so I'm just going to give you both the 1-month and the 2-month photos. Now, as I think we all know, even if you try as much as possible to get a very realistic photo, sometimes what you see in a photo does not always match what you see in the mirror. So I will just describe to you what I see in the mirror as well. For me, I do see a definite improvement in my wrinkles, especially right here, my nasal labial folds, because I am a person who actually smiles quite a bit, and it gets nice and deep like this. Originally this side was actually quite deep. I don't know why I keep saying quiet today. And this side was a little bit better. Now I think this one, I can see the improvement even without makeup. When I put on makeup, it kind of covers it up a bit, so I'm very happy with that. The other thing I was hoping to notice was to see like kind of a tighter feeling or tightness here to give me a better line, because I like a nice strong jawline. I don't know why, but alas, that did not really happen. It's just normal, I guess. So I'm curious what would happen if I continued doing this treatment, and I think I probably will, and then I'll have to give you a year update and then hopefully give it to you on time. So that was my mini update about the shrink treatment, but the star of this video is actually Botox. I tried Botox a few years ago once, just for cosmetic reasons, and now I get it done on a semi-regular basis, 50% for cosmetic reasons and 50% for medical reasons. The areas that I get it done are my forehead, my 11 lines here, and on my jaw. Now you're probably wondering about the whole medical part of this, so let me just go into this little story. I restarted getting Botox in the last week of September, I believe, last year, and I got it done because in August of that same year, I had a really traumatic wisdom tooth removal. So during the subsequent visits after the wisdom tooth removal, I was with a different dentist at the same clinic, and she had informed me very nonchalantly that I had TMJ. At first I was like, no, I don't really feel that much pain in my face. That's never been really an issue for me. I do hold stress here a lot, but it never felt like to the point that I was super uncomfortable. So I kind of just wrote it off. I thought she was being a little bit ridiculous, especially because she was recommending me treatment, but she couldn't exactly explain the treatment. She also couldn't explain to me how long it would take, and she could not explain to me the cost of the treatment. So I'm like, this is just, I'm out of here. I'm done with this clinic. I just want to go home now. Then over the next few weeks after the wisdom tooth removal, I was in an enormous amount of discomfort. I was trying to shrug it off as something psychological, like, oh, I'm feeling this just because they told me. If I don't think about it, this pain won't come to me. But it was getting worse and worse. It was to the point that it was affecting my job. I'm a teacher right now, and so I speak for hours a day, and after some classes, I didn't even want to open my mouth. It was that bad. I would even wake up and have a sore jaw even after I did nothing the whole night. Like, how does that make sense? What I personally think happened, and I have no like scientific study to back me up or anything, I think maybe I might have had a pre-existing condition with TMJ that it just wasn't that bad, but I think the wisdom tooth removal experience kind of exasperated it to the point that I was in a serious amount of discomfort. Since I didn't trust that clinic and I was kind of traumatized by dentists a little bit, I looked to Google to tell me what I could do for this jaw pain, and the number one thing that popped up was Botox. For my Botox, I went to Abichu, which is the same clinic I always go to. Bit of a side story there, not really like a haha one, but like when I went there to discuss the Botox for my jaw, they were like, you don't need it. I'm like, what are you talking about? They were telling me that if I were to get Botox in my jaw, it would not really slim down my jaw into like the V line that everybody likes. It would just make my face look a bit thinner. And I already knew that from the previous experience I had getting Botox a few years back. Which, if you didn't know, if you are actually getting Botox in the jaw just to slim it down, it might not work for you for that purpose, depending on your jaw shape, like if it's bone or if it's muscle. Because some people have a large muscle here, and then with the Botox it does slim it down to make it more of that shape. But for a lot of people, or some people, I don't really know the number, if it's bone, then obviously Botox will not do anything for that. So it usually affects me more like here to thin me out a bit than it does here, if that makes sense. I had to explain to the consultant that that's fine, it doesn't matter to me, I'm doing this for pain purposes, so we're all good. When I went into the room and sat down, the doctor was kind of like, you don't need jaw Botox. I'm like, oh god, here we go again. And he said that I needed a chin filler. And there was this picture on the wall of like a woman riding in the car with this man, like a cartoon image, and in the top image she had a really short chin, so she wasn't pretty, but in the bottom image she had a longer chin, and that made her beautiful. And he's like, yeah, you have to do it like that. I'm like, I don't want to, I'm in pain, can you just give me the injection? And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, I guess I don't think what he did was particularly wrong, because he was trying to fix what he thought was the problem, because most people who come to get jaw Botox get it for slimming purposes. So in that way, I think he was trying to help. However, I didn't ask. I didn't want it. But yeah, as long as you are clear about what you want, then it should not be a problem. As I mentioned before, besides my jaw, I always get my forehead and my 11 lines done as well, and that's really just for cosmetic purposes. For the forehead, it's mostly like preventative than anything else. Like, I don't really have many wrinkles there. I had somebody just tell me recently that I had like the smoothest forehead. I'm like, thanks, it's a lot of Botox in there, it's cool. And then I always get my 11 lines done as well, because whenever I use like the tiniest bit of force to concentrate, it shows right here. I could be looking at my phone and I start getting it. I look at my computer, I start to get it. I stare at somebody really hard, I start to get it. It's just always happening, so I don't want it to one day just stay there. So again, that's more like trying to keep it away from staying on my face forever. Now let's talk about price for a second, because everybody wants to know about that. So there are 3 different brands you can choose from: a Korean brand, a German brand, and an American brand. I think that's right. And the Korean brand is the cheapest, the German is middle price, and the American brand is the most expensive. And what I mean by like cheap versus expensive, it's a pretty big price difference. So that is something to consider when you are selecting your brand to inject in your face. I ended up choosing the Korean brand for my forehead and my 11 lines because it didn't seem like a priority to me. And then I used the American brand for my jaw because I thought, hey, if it's the most expensive, it must be the best out of the 3. If I'm remembering correctly, the cost for the jaw Botox was like 125,000 won. And then the cost for each site, as in my forehead, one site, the lines, another site, that was 17,000 won each, and this is all before taxes. It is a relatively fast and painless process. You don't have to worry about that. I got 3 shots around here on each side. I don't remember how many shots it was for my forehead. It wasn't that many. And then for here, it was about 6 as well. Right before each injection, the doctor says something like, "Takum, takum." So you're ready for the next thing to come at you. It's actually kind of cute when they say it. I don't know why, just the word. Don't even know what it means. Should look it up. But yeah. think something that you need to know is that Botox is not automatic. Like, it doesn't just go directly into the muscle and you're done. It takes a few days. So I think it was about a couple days later, maybe by the end of the week, that the pain in my jaw had subsided significantly. It was pretty awesome because the jaw, my Botox lasted from the end of September all the way up to like the beginning of January before it started to like wear away and I could feel like the soreness in my jaw come back. The Korean Botox, on the other hand, did not do its job nearly as well, I'm sorry to say. I feel like they didn't inject enough. I'm not really sure. I don't know if they're just being gentle with it because I'm younger or something, which I guess you could say is a good and bad thing. And the fact that I could keep doing a lot of the same expressions I could before. I didn't look frozen in any way, but I just thought it'd be like a little bit stronger. Like, even now it's pretty easy to make the lines come back, and I'm trying to do it for preventive purposes, so it's not really preventing anything, I think. I don't really know. I was kind of curious to see if the reason was because of that particular doctor and his injection technique, or if it was because of the brand itself. So I went to a different branch of Abichu, and obviously there was a different doctor there. So I got the Korean brand done in all the sections that I mentioned before. I have come to the conclusion that it is indeed the Korean brand, and that was not such good news because I did inject it in my jaw, and after only 1 month my jaw started hurting again. So currently, because I have not tested the German brand yet, I would recommend the American brand, especially if it's for pain purposes. When would I recommend the Korean Botox? I guess if you're completely new to Botox and you're kind of worried about losing the expression in your face or something, or if you just want it, you want to make sure that it won't last in case you don't like it, then I would recommend that just because it's so cheap in price. And that's it for now. So if you found this video at all entertaining and or informative, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you're having a wonderful time wherever and whenever you are, and I will catch you guys later. Bye bye. My foot is asleep.